Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom. But before I begin, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already part of the family, share, leave your comments, and also if you're interested, we have a membership that's available in the description box below. So let's get started. So tonight's episode, we're going to talk about Married at First Sight, Season 16, Nashville. Now this is episode 2, Runaway, Groom. So tonight's episode picks back up with the wedding day with Shaquille and Kirsten. Now, Kirsten has made it to the altar and she lets out a huge breath when she gets there. Now, I'm not sure if this breath is because she's seen her husband or nerves. What she said before she walked out came true a little bit of what she wanted or didn't want in a man. When the pastor introduces Kirsten and Shaquille laughs at first and Kirsten was like, "What's so funny?" He goes, "Oh, nothing, you're just so beautiful." I guess, he got exactly what he was looking for because he thanked God for someone that was so beautiful to come in his life and nice smile and just all the description that he described her to be. So, at these weddings, when they get married, the families and friends have something to say about who you're marrying, like what they're about. What her friends and family said, he is marrying the life of the party. Not only she's the life of the party, but she's the party. She knows all the hot spots around town in Nashville. She's beautiful. She has her head on her shoulders, stuff like that. But when it came to Shaq's turn, his family wants her to know that he's always classy, dressed to the nines, and they wonder how they're gonna end up sharing closet space. So when they read the vows, Kirsten goes first. She said it takes a brave man to marry someone you've never met before. She says, "Today I may look like a beauty, but sometimes I could be a beast." She promises to do her best in processing her true feelings in the marriage and giving it her all. And he says that he says hello to his new best friend. He promises to respect her when he comes home from a long day, to try to keep each other happy. And he knows that in this relationship, they're gonna be lit. I guess he likes to party too or go out on the town. All right, well, we'll see. It's still new. After the vows, the pastor pronounces them husband and wife. So when Shaquille leans in to kiss Kirsten, she turns her cheek. Last week, Kirsten said that she wanted a man with, a nice haircut, a nice beard. She didn't want no bald man. Well, that's what she got. She got a bald man with the beard. Her friends asked how would they know if she wasn't attracted to him. She said if she turned her face, to give the cheek instead of giving the kiss. So I guess that was a sign of, this is not the guy I was hoping for. So they're married now. They go backstage and they get to talking about, what they do for a living and what their interests are. But before we hear what that is, Shaquille said that, he respects his wife, that she would give him her cheek and not her lips. If she's not ready to do anything, then he was cool with that. Now, if I recall at the bachelor party, that wasn't some of the conversations. I'm not saying that was his conversations, but some of the men were like, yeah, we're gonna get it in on the first day, but now he's in respect mode, which that's good. I'm glad that he became a gentleman about that. So as they're getting to know each other, Shaq says that he's into tailgating and sports. Kirsten says she's not necessarily into sports, but her dad is, so she's used to tailgating. So they had a small connection on that. And then when they found out what each other did for a living, Shaquille said that he's an educator at the college, and Kirsten said that, yeah, she used to teach as well, so they're bonded on that a little bit too. And then in production, Kirsten says that even though she got someone, who had a bald head, that maybe his exterior will make up for his interior. Next up, we have Nicole and Chris. So we see them shopping with their family for their tuxes and their wedding dresses. In confessional, Nicole says she gets frustrated with shopping because it's overwhelming, it's exhausting for her. And Nicole says, while in her past relationships, she says she doesn't know why someone didn't want to marry her. She's just going on and on and on and on. And one thing I picked up from Nicole is she has anxiety vibes. She has anxiety vibes not just about shopping, since it's something she feels like she can't do because she's overwhelmed, but anxiety as far as things that come up in life as well. She also gives me a vibe of Lindsay from Married at First Sight, Season 14, Boston, where Lindsay was constantly talking. She seemed like she had different little anxieties that popped up. Lindsay became exhausting to watch with just the constant chitter chatter about everything and just trying to pull different things into perspective. Yeah, Nicole is giving me the same vibe. Now, while Nicole is in the back putting on her wedding dress, trying to win on, Nicole's mom is saying to her friends that she hopes whoever Nicole marries matches her energy. And I agree, just the overwhelming of different things. I think her mom puts the overwhelming aspect as the energy. So Nicole finds her dress, and while she's standing there saying, "This is my dress, this is the one," her friends are asking her, "So what is it that you want in your husband? Like, what is it that you're looking for?" And Nicole says that she's looking for someone who will like my smile and love me. And the friend tells her, "Well, you know what? You have to be open to this process and, not really have too many expectations as to who he is." So, and then when we see Chris, he says he's putting full faith in the experts. He says he hasn't had luck in the past, but he's ready to be married. Chris is so positive that he says he hopes he never has to date again. And I think his vibes are exactly what his friends and family say. He definitely gives the nice guy persona. So now it's their wedding day. Nicole is getting dressed. Chris is getting dressed. Nicole's mom is giving her advice. Her mom is saying, "You know what? I would like for you to be a lady tonight." Nicole says her husband has to meet her parents before she would even consider doing anything intimate with them. Then there's a knock on the door and there's an exchanging of gifts. It turns out that Nicole and Chris gave each other matching like gemstones or moonstones or whatever they are. She gives him a bracelet and he gives her a ring that has whatever connection to astrology, the stars, or something like that, that was similar. And Nicole was like, "Oh my gosh, can I already say that I love my husband already? Or is that too soon? Saying I love you already, it's a little much." Before Nicole's dad walks Nicole down the aisle, he says to her, I know you're strong and ready to go through with this, but I feel like I'm losing my little girl." And Nicole says that you're not losing me at all, and we just have to make our hearts bigger for him. So Chris is now at the altar waiting on Nicole. When we see Nicole walk up, she's looking happy. They both look happy. I think, once they finally see each other, a lot of the nerves, not all, but a lot of the nerves finally calm down a little bit. And so once she gets to the altar, she goes, "Oh, my name is Nicole." And he goes, "Oh, I'm Chris." And she says, "Oh my gosh, I just knew your name would be Chris." And he said, "Oh, I just knew your name would be Nicole." They're like, "Really? Get out of here." Like, "No, really." All right. So now it's their turn for their friends and family to say what it is about them. Nicole's friends and family say she's a motor mouth and she loves to talk. And she's a full-fledged member of FBI, full-blooded Italian. Now, last week when I heard FBI, I didn't think it meant full-blooded Italian. I thought it meant maybe something else, like a little more with an attitude or something. But they also go on to say that Nicole could be a handful at a time. She will keep you on your toes and she will be forever yours. Chris's family says that Chris is loyal as they come. He's kind, he's gentle, he's affectionate, and he's caring. His pros and cons are that he's secretly a talker and he likes to tell the same stories so much that he's a wind-up doll and he never shuts up. They say that he has 2 babies, and I hope you love his fur babies as much as he does. They say, "Nicole, you have met your trifecta when it comes to Chris." I'm like, "Your trifecta?" Because if your friends and family are describing you as a secret talker that's like a wind-up doll and you won't shut up, okay. So when they go through the vows, she says she promises to respect him, his emotions, and encourage his feelings, his hopes, and his dreams, and wants to make him laugh because I'm hilarious. Okay, well, let that be known that you're hilarious. and will always want to be with you from this day forward. Chris says he's excited to build from this day forward, and he likes to do little things like surprising you with flowers even when it's not a special occasion, and he wants to be the husband that he can be. When they, meeting production, took a look at Nicole's mom, oh my gosh, her eyes was red, she was dabbing at her nose, her cheeks were red and flushed. Nicole's mom was really into this ceremony. So after the wedding, they go back to talk, and she mentions he has dogs, and then production asked her, what do you want to talk about when it comes to Chris, and what is it that you want to know about him? And Nicole, oh my gosh, Nicole is chatty Cathy. She just went on and on and on and on and on some more. So when we see her and Chris talk again, he's showing her his work injury. He's like, well, you may have had a hard time putting the ring on my finger, but this is what happened. He's trying to get their backstory. And Nicole shut that all the way down. She was like, I don't want to hear about that. She goes, you know what? It sounds like we're kind of being, I think she used the word fake, but I'll just go ahead and say inauthentic. She just shut that whole conversation down. She wasn't trying to hear about no work injury. She was trying to get to know about Chris and who he was as a person. Then we have Clint and Gina. So when they're out, doing their tux and wedding shopping, Clint's friends say that he has been waiting a long time to be married. They say that he relocated from Florida to Nashville because he went through a hard breakup. And so when your heart's broken, you're trying to start over. It's been kind of hard for him, but they think that he's ready to get married. He's 40. And so it's time now for him to start the journey. And so Gina's mom and her friends are helping her pick out the dress. When she tried on the first dress, she liked it. It was a nice fitting dress on her. Gina has body, so the friends were like, no, it seems like, something that you would wear like to a reception, not something you would wear to your wedding. And so when she picked out another dress, they're like, okay, that's the one for her. Even Gina's mom was like, no, you need a dress that makes you look like you're a boss bitch. So I guess that's the dress that Gina picked out. Gina's mom also says, well, you know what? You're almost 40. So it's time for you to have babies, get married. Gina goes, first of all, I'm not almost 40. And I already have a baby. I have a 5-year-old dog. And so they show a picture of her dog, that she said, if her match don't like dogs, then it's going to be a problem. So that was that. And then the day of the wedding, both of them say that they're nervous but ready. Gina says for her New Year's resolution, she wanted to fall in love, so everything has come full circle. Gina says she's nervous of the awkwardness that she's feeling, but she's ready to go to start the journey. Clint says his biggest fear of the day is if they don't get along or work out. Now, Clint also says that he's 40 years old and he has had 60 partners, but also says he's ready to be married. Now, are we giving account of who we had intimate relationships with or 60 partners who we have dated? Either way, the count I thought was a little unnecessary. Before he gets to walk to the altar, Clint's dad says to him, in marriage, gives him advice like in marriage, you have to have trust. And if you don't have trust, you don't have anything. And then Gina's brother, before he walks her down the aisle, says that, yes, I know you're nervous, but you have to trust the experts in the process. That's why you're here. So now they both make it to the altar. Gina gives him a hug at first. She came out just like, oh, hey, I'm Gina. And Clint had a smile on his face. So I guess she looks like his type because earlier he said if it wasn't, they weren't attractive and, different little things may not work out. So Gina's friends and family say you're lucky to be married to a kind-hearted and fierce stranger, although she's never met a stranger, and wants a travel partner and is choosing you. And then Clint's family and friends say Clint is the captain of his own ship and he's ready to set sail on the biggest adventure of his life. So when they say their vows, Gina is saying that she's ready for the adventures in life and adventures in travel, and she's ready to have those adventures with you. And Clint say that he promises to continue to make their journey every day as it is today, promise to be open-minded, heart and soul, and ready also to embark on new adventures. So When they call on the ring, I can't think of the dog's name right now, but she's whistling for the dog, and no one knows she's whistling for the dog but her family. So they're kind of looking like, what is going on? Then the dog comes down the aisle, and they're like, oh, so the dog brings the rings and everything else. I'm surprised that dog didn't bark, didn't growl, didn't do anything. It was a nice, well-mannered dog. After the ceremony, they go back to talk. Gina says to Clint that she owns her own salon. And then Clint goes on to say that he likes that she's adventurous. And he also says that he works for a global company and he's a tech guy. And then when he talks about where he lives, because she's like, so where do you live? He goes, oh, I live downtown in a condo or townhouse, whatever he said. And she goes, oh, well, which one? And Clint said, I live at the 505. Gina said, the 505? What? I live there too. And they're like, what? You live there too? And they were like, yeah. And so Gina says, I thought maybe you look familiar. She's like, how come I haven't seen you at the pool? And Clint says, no, I don't go to the pool. I go to the lake because that's where I go sailing. And that's when he got to talk about sailing and what his family does and the legacy behind that. And he was like, can you swim? And she goes, yeah, I can swim. He goes, oh, even better. So moving to Jasmine and Eris, it's their turn for the tux and the gowns. Jasmine says since she's a pageant girl, she wants to get away from those style of dresses and find a wedding gown. Her friends and family ask her, well, what does she want in a man? She says she wants patience, lots of patience. Her friends were like, good luck with patience, or cheers to patience. Then she also said she wanted a man who looks like he'd been in the gym. She goes, because she's, fit, and he needs to be fit too. Now, when Jasmine comes out with her first dress, she said, I don't really like this because it reminds her of her pageant gowns. And then she finally finds the gown that she likes, and she says she feels like $1 million. She said she wants her husband to think that she's fine as soon as she takes her clothes off. And then her mom starts crying and says she's happy that she gets to be here to see her daughter get married and go through the process. Because, see, her mother was diagnosed 3 months prior with breast cancer. And I understand that completely. I take that to heart because if you all know our journey, I also have been diagnosed with cancer a little more than a year ago. I'm on the other side of it now where I'm stable, but I get it. I get the fact of, like, you just never know. Like, will I ever get to see the chance of my daughter get married too? Because with this disease process, you just never know. But back to the show. So Eris, when we see him, he's getting ready. One of his friends, maybe his brother, asked him, is he gonna cry? He's like, nah, crying. His brother said, well, I cried. Eris said, well, I would cry if she wasn't pretty. And so I'm thinking, that is so shallow, because see, Eris is trying to get over his F-boy. He says, and even Dr. Pepper in his package said, he's a reformed party boy. Okay, so if she wasn't pretty, you'd cry. I mean, that's not what the show's about, Eris, but moving on. He says that while he's looking for his tux, he said he's upset that his dad can't be there, and he's being encouraged by the friends and family that, his dad is looking down on him. Eris's dad passed away quite some time ago for unfortunate circumstances. So he says that there's always been a void in his life. He always felt like he had some insecurities because he didn't know or doesn't feel like he's man enough at certain times because he didn't have that role model, that male role model for him. So Eris says that he hopes that, he's making his dad proud. And he also says that he wants, in this marriage, he wants something that he can last forever and leave his F-boy behind. He said he's looking for marriage and to eventually make offspring. So now today's the day of the wedding. For Jasmine, the cousins are with her and their family supporting her. They're asking her if she's ready to get married. What are her concerns? She just goes back over the basic concerns about the type of man who he could be, the cons, everyone on here gives the pros and cons what they're looking for. And I think that's just natural. And then when we finally see Eris, they're toasting, his friends and family are toasting his new journey. The friends ask him again, are you ready to give up your F-boy, your party ways? He says that he is. And one of the friends says that, you know what, you just can't take a nicotine patch to say, oh, I'm not gonna be out there partying no more, but Eris shut that down. Before Eris makes it down the aisle, we see his cousin again, and she's saying to him, how are you feeling? I'm okay, but are you really okay? She said, because this is not something that she's trying to say this is something that's not natural. She said it's not right. This is not a game, and I hope you're doing this for the right reasons. I don't have a good feeling about it, and I really think that you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't go through the process. But Eris is telling her, like, I know it's like a different method of getting married, but I'm hopeful. But at the same time, he was saying that he has a lot of thoughts going through his head about maybe he should or shouldn't get married. So that was it until next week. So I guess we'll see Eris and Jasmine next week get married, and then Dominique and McKinley get married, and then we'll be finished with the weddings and off to the honeymoons. But before the honeymoons, I think they're gonna meet their friends and family, and then the honeymoons. I think that's usually the order of that. So, all right, everyone. So that was the end of the episode. Like I said, it was okay. We just saw just a little bit of the people who got married get married. We haven't seen any receptions, and next week, hopefully we get to see all that in one episode. All right, everyone. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, leave your comments, and share. And until next time, live simply, be grateful.